Hello everyone. So the next topic which we will be studying here is about the mechanism of hearing. So the word hearing, whenever it is there, the first thing is the ear which comes in our mind, that it is the main function of the ear. So ear helps in the hearing. Now we will be discussing first the structure of the ear and how the mechanism of hearing takes place. So let's start with this, that what is ear? So ear, it is the part of the auditory system. Now the humans, they have an external ear, and most of the mammals on the earth, they have the external ear. So the part of the ear that is visible from outside, that is known as the pinna. So that term is known as the pinna. Now, being mammals, humans also have ears. So the humans, they also have ears, and ears, they are located on both sides of the brain with the temporal bones of the skull. So they are located on both the sides. Now, the process of hearing. So what is hearing? Hearing, it is the ability to perceive sounds by detecting minute changes in the pressure. So this is done with the help of several organs which are already present in the ear. So ear has been divided into three parts. So there is the outer ear, which we have already described, that is called as pinna. Then there is a middle ear, we will be discussing that in detail also, and the inner ear. So these are the, this is the structure of the human ear. Now how these things will play role in the process of hearing. So the process of hearing, or the mechanism of hearing, is taken place in the 7 steps here. So we will be discussing each of these steps in detail. So first step is the sound transfer. So the sound transfers in the ear canal and causes the eardrum to move. So as you can see, there is a vibration which has been there. The orange lines which has been showing, it is kind of a vibration which has been going into the ear. So what it will does, it will cause the eardrum to move. So once the eardrum moves, or once it will vibrate, so the because of the vibrations, the eardrum will vibrate. So the eardrum will vibrate, and with vibrates the different sounds. So these sound vibrations make their way through the ossicles and the cochlea. So what these sound vibrations do? So they make their way through the ossicles to the cochlea. Now the sound vibrations make the fluid in the cochlea travel like a ocean wave. So there is a fluid in the cochlea. So these vibrations will also move that fluid, and the movement of this fluid will will in turn make the hair cells, the auditory nerve, which is being mentioned here. So the auditory nerve here picks up any neural signal created by the hair cell, and hair cells at one end of the cochlea transfers low pitch sound information, and hair cell at the opposite end transfer high pitch sound information. So the auditory nerve, here we have depicted the auditory nerve. So the auditory nerve moves signals to the brain. So this will take the signal to the brain, where they are then translated into recognizable and meaningful sounds. So this is how the whole mechanism of hearing takes place. In this way, the person will, the sound wave will first vibrate the eardrum, then it will vibrate further tiny bones in the middle ear, then the fluid that is present in the cochlea, and then the auditory nerve, which play a major role in transferring the sound vibrations to the brain, and that will help us to do this whole process. So this process happens in seconds. It does not take 1 or 2 minutes. It happens in nanoseconds. So the brain will perceive that sound information and will revert back. So I was telling you about the structure of the human ear. So the human ear has been divided into three structures, that is the outer ear, the middle ear and the inner ear. Now what are these? So first I will be talking about is the outer ear, which is consisting of the pinna and the earlobe. So the pinna, it is the outermost part and it has very fine hair and glands. It is cartilaginous and it directs the sound wave towards the external auditory canal. There is a external auditory canal which channels the sound to the tympanic membrane, and in general the tympanic membrane is called as the eardrum. So in the previous diagram itself we have seen that there were sound waves and it was touching the eardrum. So it was vibrating the eardrum. So that tympanic membrane, it is called as the eardrum. So the tympanic membrane, it is thin and it is semi-transparent, and it is made up of, moreover it is also made up of the connective tissues. It is made up of the connective tissue, and skin covers the outer portion, and from inside it is covered by the mucous membrane. So from the outside from the inside it is being covered by the mucous membrane. Now, pinna receive the sounds in the form of vibration, and as we have discussed that in the previous slide as well. So the sound wave reach and vibrate the eardrum through the external auditory canal. Next comes the middle ear. So it contains three tiny bones. Now what are these tiny bones? So these tiny bones are Macellus, Inus and Stapes. So these are the three tiny bones that are present. Now the middle ear consists of these three tiny bones and it is filled with air. So the bones are known as the ossicles. Now the sound vibration on the tympanic membrane is transmitted further by these three bones. Now, what are the function of these three bones? First I will be talking about is the malleus. So it is a hammer shaped bone. It is a hammer shaped bone which is attached to the tympanic membrane, that is to the eardrum. Next I will talk about is the inus. So it is an anvil shaped bone. It is an anvil shaped bone which is present between the malleus and the stapes. And the last I will talk about is the stapes. So it is the smallest bone. So it is one of the smallest bone which is attached to the oval window of the cochlea. So this was about the middle ear. So the middle ear, it amplifies the sound waves and transmits to the inner ear. Now the function of inner ear comes into the picture. So the inner ear, it is also called the labyrinth. It consists of two main structures. The structures are cochlea and the vestibular system. The main function of the cochlea, that is the part of the inner ear, is to help in hearing. The other the system, that vestibular system, it consists of three semicircular canals, sacules and the utricles. So this is what is the inner ear. Now if I talk about the range of the human hearing, so the human ear and the auditory system can detect up to the 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz of the frequency. So this was all about the mechanism of hearing. Now if I want to summarize all of the mechanism of hearing in a flow chart or in a few sentences, then so first step that comes is the sound waves. So first you have seen that there were sound waves that was being received by the external auditory meters. Then comes the eardrum. So the eardrum vibrates. So because of the sound waves, the eardrum will vibrate. Next comes the three bones in the middle ear, that also vibrates. 3 bones in the inner ear, in the middle ear, sorry, in the middle ear vibrates. So we have already studied the 3 bones here. Now the vibration reaches the inner ear through oval window. So vibration will reach through oval window. Vibration will reach through the oval window. And then comes the movement of fluid by the pressure waves. There is a movement of fluid by the pressure waves. Then there are some of the hair cells which we have already discussed, of organ and corti that stimulated by vibration in the basilar membrane. And the last is when the auditory nerve transmits the signal to the brain. So there is an auditory nerve that transmits the signal to the brain. So this was a flow chart which was being depicted here, which tells the mechanism of hearing. So this was all about it. These are some of the references.